Welcome back. Welcome back. It's always a pleasure having you stay with us. If you're just joining us for the first time, well, you are on time for a very great conversation. You might have missed the first one on sports, where John was giving us a brief of what happened over the weekend, both internationally and locally. But now we switch gears to look on matters technology. And this is not the boring type. This is the kind that, involves you. And we are looking into the global conservation tech and drone forum that is happening this week. So what exactly is conservation when it comes to technology? Something that might be new to you, so we want to understand that. And for this particular conversation, we're joined by an expert. This is Mr. Munyala Mwalo, who's our design director at Action Lab, which is Africa's premier system change engineer, and you'll be telling us more about it. Karibu sana.
Asante, good to be here.
Great to have you. So I want to get to know about who you are and what you do before we delve into the conversation.
Oh, that's a long story. So Munyala Mwalo, like you said, I'm a systemic designer. It's a mix of behavioral design and understanding systems. And so my job is to pretty much look at market failures in the ecosystem and try to fix them. It looks very high level, but it's pretty much saying, if you get into a hotel and there's a service process, there's someone who actually helps you to just understand what is the best way to serve. Yeah.
Okay.
So pretty much that's what I do, but at a very global scale.
So that's what you mean when you say Action Lab deals at system change engineering. So changing systems.
Yeah. So there's one concept we believe that government as a concept has been there for like 600 years or so. And so for it to be able to be agile and to change with times, we need to actually help it to change. And helping it means we fix the systemic issues that don't work for today and make sure that they can work for tomorrow. Yeah,
awesome.
That's pretty much it.
Awesome, great.
Yeah.
Now, looking at the event that's happening this week, what we want to talk about, we've had conservation, and when you say conservation, people really look at the environment first thing, like don't litter, let's do this, let's go electric, let's change a few things here and there to protect our environment. But when it comes to tech, how does tech come in? What is conservation in tech?
Maybe if I to take it one step first back is, so it's a global conservation and tech forum. And so this is the marriage between technology. I know drones are also technology, but then we just tend to mention it because the whole concept of conservation is that we can only change if we are able to monitor the conservation. And for a long time, it has been very traditional. Yeah, like it's going to rain, what happens when it rains, what kind of agricultural practices and things like that. So for us to be able to do that on real time, then tech comes in. And so we have different methods of tech that can actually be used to actually monitor the environment, to know what's going on.
Okay. And
this is from a climatic position, from weather position, to land use, just on top of land, and also below earth, sort of monitoring and observation. And so these different technologies that have been used for a long time are sort of coming together, coming to birth, ideally, becoming stronger and more reliable to help us understand the environment and how it behaves and how we interact with it. And there are many. They include, spatial technology, that we are looking at satellite data, observing what's going on, weather patterns and things like that, the algorithms that are used to actually figure out what will happen next. If it rains today, then this is what is happening, to actual low Earth orbit satellites, to aircrafts have been used for a long time. You take a helicopter and you move around to just see what's happening. And then comes the advent of drones, which allow us to do it at scale. Okay. Still a little bit expensive as we speak, but then it provides for a closer look at what's really going on.
Compared to helicopters.
Exactly. So for the tech forum, then what you're looking at is the combination of all these different technologies. How does it help us to make decisions on conservation? So pretty much.
All right.
So and that's what you're doing this week, yeah.
Awesome. And how are you bringing the young people into this conversation?
Yeah, there's something we did last year that was very interesting. We worked with UNEP to do a hackathon on conservation. And the question we were trying to answer was, how can you use data to make decisions on environmental issues? So can young people just try to figure out innovative ways of actually doing that? And we found it quite interesting. We are not yet there. I mean, yes, we've been having a lot of innovators in the environment space, but there's a lot of challenges of understanding how to do it. It's very expensive to get the technology to do it. I mean, I don't expect a young person to get satellite data and from planet, for instance, that is 0.25 meter resolution that can actually allow you to see what you need to see. So it's very expensive. It's infrastructure that's supposed to be either public or something of that sort. So there's a marriage that needs to happen between young innovators, governments, and the big tech. So what we're doing in this forum is to try and bring everyone in the same room and have honest conversations over what are my limitations as an innovator and what can I access from your side. And just even to understand that there's data that can actually be used for environment. I mean, the young people who don't really know that there are companies that are actually providing certain solutions, either for forest data, satellite observatory, and things like that, they can actually access.
Okay.
So this forum is pretty much to do that, open it up.
To show them the opportunities that are there, link them to the right people.
Yeah.
So you've said that companies that have this data, so if there's an innovator who wants to get into a certain space in conservation, they can get, how do they get to these people?
I mean, it's still complicated. I mean, one way is getting to them. First of all, the forum is an open space, and it's one of those activities that we are starting going forward to help us put everyone on the same table. Because, I mean, how do you just walk into a CEO's office and say, oh, I want this kind of data? And maybe you don't even know that CEO exists. And so there's still a limitation in terms of how access is actually provided. And I think the big tech companies and government are trying to come together to open that door. So the forum pretty much opens that door. And then the second thing for us is that we're able to demonstrate the value that has already been created. So this is what is possible. So if you're a young person from, I mean, let me use Turkana because I went there to school. If you're from Turkana, you know that there are these possibilities and I can actually do even more. And then third is a, how do you call it? It's a silos question. That there are groups of people who know what they know and there are those who don't know. And so we have two categories of people in this world. And so there's a lot of silos that are limiting people from innovating and creating solutions. So we want to break those silos. And the main agenda for this forum is actually also to break those silos. The last thing is it is very expensive. Environmental data is very expensive. So how do we rethink how that can be provided at scale for young people to actually build? So those are the conversations. So it's pretty much one of those forums that it's a series of summits happening this week, starting from today, that includes a lot of very honest conversations. If you really want, I mean, if you have satellite data, either way, you will still take a photo. So if you're waiting to sell that photo, you'd rather think of another different way that a young person can actually use it to build better solutions so that you can co-create with them. So we would like for an opportunity for where a global company and a young innovator in Kenya can actually build a solution that actually works. And
for some innovators or many innovators that usually go to such firms, I've had some that usually discouraged and because they see that it's usually just a place where people just go and talk and it just ends at talk. So we can do this, you can do this, you know. But they don't really get the assistance thereafter. The partnerships don't really amount to anything, or they just stop right there. So how different is this event?
I think I'll start with the partners on the table. So partners have come together with the appreciation that there's a problem that needs to be fixed. And so all the experts who are coming from across the world to sit on this table, first within the forum itself, how it's actually structured. As much as there's a series of demonstrations and activities, there are specific outcomes that you're looking for. For instance, there's a challenge that we're doing, an innovation challenge that we're doing for the youth. Has been going on for some time and it's ending this week. And what that does then is to show this is what we've been doing, but we didn't know this is there. So if we had this, then we could actually have done it better. And then we have very specific working sessions where they can actually sit down and say, okay, this is an interesting idea. I can actually partner with you to build. So those are discussions that we want to be finished during the forum, including demonstrations and things like that. And then the second thing, that's why the partners are on the table. So for the Action Lab, for instance, our main job is to bring all the smart people together to solve problems. That's pretty much what we do every day. We have startups that we are building within our ecosystem, individuals that are actually just smart, who come either with ideas or something of that sort. So our job is to pretty much get problems from the public sector, development partners, the multilaterals, who come to us and say, okay, we feel like we've been doing this for a long time. We don't know why it's not working. Is there a way we can rethink? And so what we do is we go through a design process to figure out what is the best way of delivering this. And then one step further, who can actually participate in this process? And because the cake is very big, we open it up to everyone. So that's one other thing that we're going to have conversations with young people and just remind them that there are spaces like this that you can actually literally walk in and say, I have this idea and I want support. And you'll get access to everything that you need, from the development partners to the government to, I mean, up to the presidency level. So that's the play in this.
And to divert you a bit from that, at Action Lab, you do such, you have something similar to that. But before we came on air, you told me how you're bringing together innovators to help solve the problems that we have. So tell us about that as well.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, government is old. Not necessarily our government, but the whole structure of government is old. Because this is something that we're doing at an Africa scale. We did realize that there's that gap between who has a solution and who has the problem. And both of them might not know how to define what they're trying to do. So we've created a platform where, one, we provide design support. So our job is pretty much, we literally wake up every day in the morning to do research and to design solutions. So we do workshops, sprints, and things like that. And we do it with different partners. And then second thing is we provide access. If there's an office that you're supposed to work with to solve a certain problem, then we'll start that conversation for you. Our job will be to go to that office, whether it's from the presidency all the way, and say, we think this young person has a solution for this problem. We've worked with them. We've actually organized how it looks like. Are you able to cooperate with them? Then we go a little further to look for then who can actually resource, whether through technical skills, financially, or anything of that sort. Who can actually resource this? So we are creating a new age where we can create solutions for the public service or the public sector of public good that are co-created with the private. And these are things that are usually limited when it comes to procurement. So like if I don't know what I'm procuring, then I can't procure. So most times you'll get that development partners and government will not procure innovation because they don't know what the answer is to the problem that they're asking. So we try to reverse engineer that. It's complicated, includes a lot of policy change work, policy briefs, talking to maybe the parliament sometimes to say, can we get an allowance of doing this? Can the 30% of youth allocation on procurement be allocated to this? Can government also invest in such solutions? So it's a combination of different actions. We've gotten to a position where last year I think we worked on about 37 different projects for the Kenyan government, UNEP, UNDP, different partners. And this year we're getting to even more scale, very big team at the core, but also a lot of partners, including big tech, who are also sitting on the table. So that's pretty much what we do every day. And we hope that can scale. I mean, this year we are scaling to other countries also, so hopefully we can open it up for young people more.
Okay. So is it, are you closed up with the innovators you have? Is it open for others to come in?
I mean, there are multiple platforms that people can come in. So first, the events and activities that we do. The forum is one of them. We work together with the Africa Drone Forum, KWS, CONS, and others to put this together. And in the forum, for instance, I think we have about, just to confirm, maybe 150 plus students who have been invited. Over 100 conservationists. So these are community groups and things like that. And then now we have the big techs and the governments and others on the table. So such events, and we have a series of them. We get an opportunity of allowing young people to come. Second is, and for example, the next event that we're doing, we have, there's a hackathon on this. There's another hackathon on the event that is coming, where we've we've opened up to startups to actually start applying to Connected. If they go to that platform, they'll see.
So we are aggregating
Connected Africa Summit. So I think so far we have more than 40 plus startups that have just applied to be part of it.
Okay.
So they'll go through that whole process, and that's where we recruit our, let me call them the change makers, ideally. There are those who just reach out to us on LinkedIn, the partners that we actually have, or through the government bodies that they actually know. So we're very open.
Okay.
Not very. Sometimes it's complicated because there's a lot of people. So we go through some level of vetting to just make sure that the problem you're trying to solve can actually deliver public good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Now, maybe you can tell us why, for this particular event and even for others, why should Kenyans, pay attention to it? What should they draw their attention to such events? How is it benefiting to them?
We've, first of all, Kenya is at the center of the conservation story. The global headquarters for the United Nations Environmental Program is here, and multiple other agencies that are actually doing the same thing, which shows that the world has bestowed trust in Kenya for a very long time. We're the hub. Like literally, I know people think it's abstract, but it's very, very literal.
Okay.
We've lost a lot over the last 30, 40 years. We've done a lot of mistakes when it comes to the environment. I know our former president, the second president, President Arap Moi, really pushed for the planting of trees and things like that. So we've had a journey as a country. Let me start from there. The current president has been pushing so much for tree planting as a thing. And I think we are all seeing the effects of the changes in the environment as we go. The 2023 El Nino hit us hard.
Yeah.
And that's when we started thinking about this whole question, because we get to a situation where how do we react to an emergency, an environmental emergency? I've seen there's been floods in Nairobi just this weekend. What do we need to do to respond? If we would predict and know in advance, then we'd be aware and protect everyone from losing life or the environment from actually being destroyed.
Yeah.
And I think we saw it during El Nino. We lost a lot of lives in Naivasha, you remember.
Unfortunately,
With technology, could we have averted that? Of course, yes. Because, water was accumulating somewhere. Someone could have seen it. And if someone could not see it, then technology can actually detect. And so we started asking questions around what are we doing to make sure that we are aware of what's coming to happen and to prevent loss of life. As that's the fundamental one. And then environment is second. And then second is we're now getting into an age of intelligence, which artificial intelligence has become this whole monster in the house that has both good and bad. The good is that it can actually change lives, improve livelihoods, help us understand the environment better and things like that. The bad of it is that there's a risk that it consumes too much power, too much water, so it becomes a competition with human beings. And so end of last year, Kenya championed for a resolution at the UNEA 7. UNEA is the national, the global environmental assembly that happens in Nairobi.
Yeah.
We pushed several resolutions, but one of them was AI for green and green AI. So it's UN resolution on sustainable artificial intelligence. And the intent for that was that we rally everyone around this whole question of, are we able to understand the environment better and do better? Can we innovate? Can we learn what is existing and things like that? And so this Drones Forum is one of the first initiatives for us, because even the UNEP will actually be there, to start rethinking how we engage with the environment. Second is that Kenya is also dependent on by other countries. So the countries who are looking at Kenya as the tech hub.
Yeah.
And so if Kenya solves for a fundamental public good issue, then you're actually solving it for the rest. And so this provides a very good opportunity and platform for young people, innovators, startups, businesses, to rethink their approach to environmental tech and see how we can actually build for ourselves and export for other countries.
Okay.
So these are those conversations. And then the last thing I would say is, if you put a cap to how much money we are using for what do you call the drought response, I think all of us know. Is there a way we can do it differently? Yeah. Going forward, can we be more innovative in how we respond to things like that?
Yeah.
And so it also comes to a budgetary question and a resource question, that we can all come together to rethink how certain systems operate so that we don't have loss of life. And so it provides a good chance for Kenya to rethink that space, provide new policies that can actually govern that space. Maybe there are policies that need to be rethought. Currently, we are running a process to do the national AI policy, and environmental conservation and sustainability is fundamental to it. So these are things that, there are many things that we can actually say are important for us, but most importantly, break the silos, come together, collaborate, and we can solve more problems together.
Okay, great. Even when you're talking about green AI and AI going green, I've just thought of the issue that usually comes with technology also. You have mentioned high energy and all. There's also just how do you call it, e-waste? That's a problem as well. So is it something that you're also talking about looking into, in these conversations? So
it's actually, the value chain is actually even longer. It starts from the mining. and that's one thing that we keep on forgetting. I mean, so the rare minerals are actually used within the AI value chain. I mean, Kenya just discovered, I don't know if it's validated yet, niobium in Brima Hills. So Kwale has some rare minerals and things like that. So if we were to look at it from the point of extraction all the way to consumption to the waste, like you say, then you'll realize that the play is bigger than we think. Because every time we talk about conservation, we think, or AI and sustainability, we think about the data centers and how big they are and how they can consume water. And so it's a whole value chain. So are we able to rethink that whole ecosystem? But also, are we able to participate in that whole ecosystem? So within this forum, there are multiple things that are happening that I would say it's important. So today, for instance, we have a Women in Conservation Forum, where, again, these are women who are participating in this space, and what are they doing that they can actually demonstrate, and how can they collaborate in that space. And this is important because, as you know, the biggest category of people who are actually impacted by environmental issues is women. In Africa specifically. So
someone would ask why, so maybe you'd want to clarify.
I mean, you hold the family. I'm not saying that men are not holding the family together, but
women play a key role.
Exactly. If you look at agriculture, if you look at even just everything family. So, for example, we've had these conversations around green fuels, biofuels, and things like that. It's because of women are using a lot of firewood, and they're the most affected when it comes to, what do you call them?
Health problems that are related,
respiratory issues, and children. And so if you put women and children together, you've literally talked about 70% of the population. And so then what is happening in that space from a research point of view to an actual implementation point? And so those, I mean, we're looking at that whole sector. First of all, the value chain, let me not call it the value chain, the whole AI value chain, but also the participation of different individuals in the ecosystem who are playing a role. So for instance, KWS has a role to play, Kenya Forest Services, Action Lab as an innovation group, Planet, Microsoft. So everyone who plays a part in this whole game. So how can we all start speaking the same language? So for example, let me give a very basic example. All of us in the environment space, whether I am dealing with conservation in the field, or I'm looking at floods and disaster response, all of us need data on land use, land cover. But land use, land cover, I mean, we need to be able to see what's happening on land, like literally, just plainly. And so if KWS has to acquire imagery, satellite imagery, I know Kenya had some satellite somewhere at some point with KSA. If KWS has to acquire, the Ministry of Environment has to also acquire. They're literally acquiring the same image. And so what do we need to do to make sure that that resource duplication does not really happen? So that's why everyone needs to be on the table. And the innovators are the glue for this. Their job is to, I mean, I would say come, listen, and create solutions. By the time it gets to Friday, you actually know, I want this person and this person on this table, and I can solve it this way. That's what we want.
Okay, that is amazing. And I know you have mentioned them in passing, but you have said today is Women in Conservation, right? Tomorrow is the wildlife.
Wildlife, World Wildlife Day.
Okay.
Which is pretty much also like the main opening of the event. We have different government partners, KWS and others coming for that. It's actually a global, I don't want to call it day of importance, not holiday. I can say the holiday alafu niulize if I'm yes. And so that's on 3rd of March, and it's going to trickle into 4th of March, where we're going to have working sessions and things like that. And then we have the Conservation Intelligence Summit, which is what I'm also very...
Where you're actually involved in the panel?
And then that's the 5th of March. And then now we have live demonstrations in Konza on Friday, which is going to be a live drones demonstrations. I mean, there are several drones companies in country. I don't know how many people can go to Konza, but this is going to be so much fun. It's pretty much demonstrating what can we do with drones, what are the possibilities. And remember, it's a combination of software and hardware. So software is to say young people or innovators are building programs that can actually help drones see certain things in the environment. A good example that people are used to would be, I mean, just detecting crop diseases and issues like that through imagery. So software have to be built for that. So those are the innovations that are going to be demonstrated in Konza. Yeah.
I think that's an amazing one.
It's far away, but
I hope I can travel to see that, just to document it even for the people. Now, on your particular day, what is your focus on? Tell us a little bit about that.
So the Conservation Systems Intelligence Summit was born out of a very strategic need. One is that everyone is talking about data. Who does data belong to? Does it belong to the community? Does it belong to government? Does it belong to a sovereign or something of that sort? Second, there's a whole governance issue around how data moves in the ecosystem. Now, if I was to take a step back, the glue between decision making, and we call it decision intelligence ourselves, and actually solutions, is that there must be data that can look for what's happening, can monitor what's happening, can tell us what has been happening for a long time, and then work together with simple math. It's not simple math, but anyway, to sort of predict what will actually happen.
The future, yeah.
The art of environmental conservation is pretty much about that. I can look back, I can say this is what's happening today, and because of this, then this will actually happen. And this is something that is being done by multiple different organizations in their own silos. We have maybe Olpajeta on their end with very high tech versus another conservancy that's community-led that doesn't even have a drone. Why is it that they're not in a balanced situation? Because all of them are taking care of the environment. So what we're looking at is about 4 things. Number 1 is, how do we rethink governance of environmental data? Questions around privacy, questions around, this is my land, I don't want you to look at it, I'm the only one who needs to look at it. Whose responsibility is it? The collaboration between communities, for Kenya, for instance, county government versus national government. Are we able to streamline that whole process of governance so that we don't have 10 different policies governing one specific area? Then the second thing is interoperability, where we are saying, okay, you can continue doing what you're doing, but can we set standards to say that if I need to understand what I need to do with you, it's a plug and play. Okay. If there's a partner who is doing something different and I'm doing something different and we're trying to achieve the same goal, why don't we just choose the best way to do it? Can we bring innovators to actually help us to just make sure that everyone speaks the same language? So everyone wins, but collectively we achieve the same goal. So interoperability, there's a question of sovereignty, and this is big. I mean, when it comes to artificial intelligence and data, everyone is asking, how can we as a country own whatever we need to own? But I think the question goes beyond ownership. It goes into questions around who does the intelligence belong to if your data is your data. I mean, if I use my data to train a model in the US, what does it actually mean? So if someone comes here and says, I have a beautiful solution that can actually work on changing the environment in Kenya, but you have to use my system, and then you give me your data, what is the best way for us to collaborate in such situation and avoid this data colonialism question? Okay. And then the last thing is finance. This job is not cheap. I mean, if we were to just Google right now, how much satellite data is, it's expensive, but I cannot build a solution for environmental conservation if I don't see what's happening on that space. So how do we rethink financing in this space? So these are discussions that we're going to have across the day. It's a series of panels, there's fireside chats, there's innovators who are coming to have discussions and presentations and demos. We have presentations from like government-wide programs. There's a very interesting project being done by the chiefs, which is the tree planting and things like that. They're very active in that space, so they're going to demonstrate what they've been doing at scale. We have private sector that are also doing interesting things. I mean, we've built solutions with the big tech organizations that they are going to come and say, okay, this is what we've been doing in this space. So what does it mean? So in the morning, it's pretty much a series of not roundtables, I would say a series of fireside chats, panels, and keynote speakers. And then we'll end it with a very strategic roundtable conversation over, okay, we've had all this, so what? What
actions can we take?
That's exactly it. And then in the afternoon, we have a play with the innovators. I mean, the presentation of the finals of the Innovation Challenge, and then again, see what comes out of it.
Okay.
Because everyone will be in the room, so I can't predict.
Okay. And I understand there was an award, was it yesterday?
Yes, the Mara Elephant program. So MEP has been running a challenge for innovators to actually just rethink again innovation, so using technology for innovation. So the winners, I would say, or the finalists have been given access to participate in the whole event and are going to be introduced to the different partners that can actually work with them to advance the solution. And I think that is the most important thing for me. Sometimes people ask, oh, so what is the winning prize? I can't talk about the winning prize, but I think it goes beyond
the prize money.
It gets into, yes, you did a hackathon and you came up with a solution. So what next for your solution? So sometimes prize money is actually the devil in the room. So if you get a partner, which I think they will, I mean, if you look at the list of people who are actually participating in this event, it is the best space for an innovator to be in.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we can't accommodate 1,000 people. I think I'm sure we are near capacity, if I'm not wrong, or past. But I think also some sessions, I think we'll have live, how do you call them? Will be live streamed. Like the one in Konza, we are hoping we can do that. So some of those activities, I think people can actually have visibility of.
All right. That is awesome. There's usually the perception that for one to be a successful startup, for the innovators, that they have to have a partner who is a white person, you know, so that they can get funding and whatnot. So maybe you can help break that if it's a wrong perception, and maybe how you're changing that.
I don't know if I should plead the fifth or something, but I mean, truth be told, we can look at the profiles. At least I'm not a politician, so I can just be honest.
Yeah, please do.
We can look at the profiles. I mean, Kenya is raising more money than any other state in Africa. I mean, even more than Nigeria, which is big and massive. But the question is, what is the profile of the people that are actually moving this funding, and why? And maybe the other question to look at for me would not be necessarily whether it's a white person or Westerner or something of that sort. It would be a question of, are the people building these solutions understanding context? Is the person investing understanding context? Because there are two people. I mean, there's me who comes and says, I want to build this solution, and then I get a partner maybe from the US, and then I raise money. So the three of us are conduits in this whole play. If we all do not understand context, then the investment goes to the wrong thing. I mean, it's okay for investment to come to Kenya into a startup, but if it goes into a product like, I mean, there was one back then that even KCB was part of the participation. Is it not KCB? It was someone who did a very interesting startup that can distribute food. Mama Mboga's Kibandaski food. Don't remember the name. Of course, it was someone from outside. But for me, the problem was whoever put in money did not also understand context. And so what we're doing is to reverse engineer that whole process. I mean, we don't care who is going to start that startup. But are we able to design properly and answer the right questions with the solution that you're providing? And then second, are we able to also influence the innovator, not the innovator, the financier, to actually make the right decision? So we're doing that through the Action Lab platform. We are doing that through other platforms like CIO Africa and others. So we have sort of a community of actors that have come together to say, let's bring the venture builders, the financiers on the table, and the innovators to actually rethink how innovation is done in Kenya and in Africa. So that process is ongoing, and it takes also these processes like the summit that we're doing at the forum that this week has, where we are able to have those honest conversations that your solution will not work here. But la tukudanganye, you don't go there and do the very good pitch decks and things like that. The conservationists, the communities are going to be there. The young people from schools, like actual students, are going to be there. And the actual investors are going to be there.
Okay.
And so when you do your presentation, then everyone will tell you whether it's practical or not practical. Yeah. So it's not just a normal pitch challenge. It's an ecosystem building initiative. Yeah.
Awesome. Great. And just taking you back to the discussion and the panels, different panels. For instance, your panel on day 4 brings together global tech players like Microsoft, right? How does Action Lab ensure that these solutions are sovereign and truly belong to Kenya at the end of the day?
It's like a battleground. It's a battleground. I say this because every different organization has their own metrics, KPIs. I mean, Microsoft will say, this is our objective when it comes to environmental conservation, and this is how we do it. KWS will do the same thing. So everyone does their part, which is very okay, which is how ecosystems survive. The work of the Action Lab then is to ask the question, does it serve purpose if we are either conflicting on trying to achieve the same goal? And what is the value in collaboration at scale? Like we literally work on collaboration at scale. So those two questions. And then have a very honest discussion over it, because we don't want 10 projects in one space at the same time. But the second layer of it is to do it also at a policy scale, that we can actually influence from what we did in UNIA 7, the AI policy that we're supporting right now. All these things are geared towards saying, okay, if you're doing A, it only makes sense for A to be done in this standard.
Yes. Okay.
Get? That you have to work with so and so. That we have policies like the Data Protection Act and other regulations that redefine what sovereignty is. And that's a lot of the work that we're doing. Right now, for instance, one of our big supporters is the Office of the Special Envoy on Technology, who works both with the presidency and the global ecosystem to define what does sovereignty mean. Because if we don't answer that question, then what are we answering?
Yeah, true.
Sovereignty is not about localizing everything and just making sure it is ours, yeah? In Luya we say shenyu ni shenyu. So we need to define what that means so that when every actor is coming to the table, they know these are the set of principles and guidelines that we have. For Kenya, this is the bare minimum.
Okay.
Then you act. I mean, there are countries that have done it very well. There are countries that actually even sit down with donors. Like I think Rwanda Development Authority sits down with donors and says, this year, we are going that way. So we would love for you to
come
align.
on board, yeah.
So those are the things that the Action Lab is actually actively doing every single day.
All right.
Yeah.
Incredible. Now, when it comes to wildlife and, you know, AI in conservation, how do we move from a pilot project in one park looking at drones to a national system that KWS can use everywhere?
I mean, this has been a conversation for a long time. There are conservancies, private conservancies that have really advanced in how they do monitoring. Like, I mean, not fail to mention like Olpajeta, for instance, and the work that they do to monitor the vifaru. What is vifaru? The rhinos. Okay. And so they're very high tech. Now, KWS also has moved towards that direction. I mean, they're also a little bit getting there when it comes to the technology implementation. But there are questions around cost and scale. I mean, I would need a lot of drones operated in Tsavo National Park, for instance. And so the innovation pretty much starts also from down there. And there are projects that we're doing even in the Action Lab to rethink, I mean, can we manufacture drones here? So that it's easy for me to have drones that can actually help in conservation? Can we rethink how public sector interacts with global players like Planet who have spatial data. Kenya Space Agency has been a very good collaborator in this space. They're also rethinking how can we have a national spatial infrastructure, pretty much have satellite data for the whole country that can be given access to other partners from agriculture, KWS, and others. So if we create these layers of technologies that are, I would say, infrastructure that must be there, it's like a road, then everything else can actually be built on top. So what we are doing right now at the Action Lab is we have a very specific focus on something called situational awareness. And so this is putting together an infrastructure that, number one, can monitor, but number two, can communicate across agencies. So that's the work that we're doing with, we'll pull in both KWS, Kenya Forest Service, everyone else who is playing in the environment space, to make sure that there's a network and a standard of communication, so that if I mean, at the click of a button, I can know what is going to happen in Nairobi, and this is what I need to do, and this is who needs to take up that responsibility. So that's a process. It's a journey, but it starts from uko chini, manufacturing. I mean, is it hard for a Kenyan to build drones? No.
It is.
I mean, guys are building drones in their garage.
Yeah, absolutely. So we can do it. So why not do it here?
We must.
All right. Looking into our digital future, what does it take to build the data infrastructure, that's the sensors, AI, GIS, for national conservation? Wow.
I think number one, manufacturing at scale. Like, we literally have to build the capabilities of chips manufacturing. Doesn't need to be the high tech that is being done in AI. I mean, we have about 2 players for semiconductors locally. Software, we don't really have a big problem.
We're good.
I mean, the contribution of Kenyans on GitHub, which is the platform for developers, is like 300,000 Kenyans are contributing freely to it. So which means we have the capacity when it comes to the technical know-how. So we need to be able to put in some level of infrastructure to locally produce, so that the cost can extremely go down. We can repair, we can do, I mean, that whole value chain. And this is not only for just drones, but again, like you said, IoT, sensors. KWS is not even the only person that requires sensors. Even KPLC requires sensors to monitor their grid. So it's a very big market. I don't know the value of it. I think there's a time we were having that discussion. But if we were to be intentional about it, and I think just imploring the government to also come into that play and allowing private sector to join in, if we are able to be intentional at it, it can create a lot of jobs. But I think so far we are getting the infrastructure to do that. I've seen there's some infrastructure in Naivasha. The guys who are actually doing the Ndudhis can also do that. The electric Ndudhis. There are buses being manufactured in Kenya. So pretty much we have the ecosystem and the environment. And this forum could be the best place to have that open discussion over, okay, I want to put money, if someone can actually do it, and partner with someone from another country. So that's, I mean, I've seen Nigeria are now manufacturing drones. So they are a big brother, yes, but we have to do it twice more.
We can do that. Absolutely. And there's so much to ask. The conversation can be as long as it can go, because there's a lot. But to our viewer who's watching and listening in, what are some of the opportunities that they can tap into? And, off the air, you said in this ecosystem, you need to force people into it, Yes. So, tell us about that, even as you tell the viewers why this is a good space to get into.
Yeah, I think, I mean, there's something that we need to debunk. For a long time, the innovation space, or even the word innovation, looks like a very elitist thing, which is wrong, which limits anyone who is trying to start a very, what you might think is a very small business somewhere in the locals, could actually be a very big innovation for the ecosystem. I mean, things like M-Pesa and others did not start from the elitist space. And so removing that connotation that innovation is for a certain few is one thing. And we're doing it through making sure that we reorganize the ecosystem. And unfortunately, we must reorganize the ecosystem. You don't want to be seeing the same people on TV, same people on platforms like this, who have been speaking about innovation for 10 years. And if you ask them, then what have you built? Neither here nor there. But there are young people who are actually building it. So what we are doing is to open this space for communications. Now, there are spaces that we don't have young people. LinkedIn, for instance, is a platform where a lot of very important conversations happen. We have very few Kenyans on LinkedIn. Yeah?
Okay.
And so in your space, you will never know that there's an opportunity somewhere that is not just a hackathon and something else. So we are going very heavy on how we communicate the availability of these opportunities and spaces to the masses. But it's going to take some time. What I would say is innovators need to be aggressive. And by innovators here, I mean everyone. I mean, you can be, and we always say this, you have a problem, you're an innovator. You have a solution, you're an innovator. Those two people, and then there's someone else who's just good at organizing and managing things. Me, I don't want to create new things. I can be a very good manager if you give me something, or I'm very good at operationalizing something. So what we're doing even in the Action Lab is to rethink how innovator or innovation is actually perceived. It's a combination of multiple things that come together into forming an ecosystem.
Okay.
So we are reworking that ecosystem at scale. There's a group that we're putting together very soon, and maybe we'll reach out to just come back to this platform to do it in Kenya, Uganda, Zambia, other places, and which means that we have some career. Let me say there's a spectrum of careers that are completely unknown to others. I mean, I can count how many systemic designers are in Kenya. UX designers, there are very many. So these are things that we can open up to people to know that I can play if I have these capabilities. Once you know that, then you're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time, for the great insights that you've shared, the opportunities that are now known to our viewers.
Yeah.
Maybe as we close, you can tell them where they can find your website or whatever. And this is your camera.
Okay. So the Global Conservation Tech and Drone Forum. The abbreviation of that, GCT, I'll get the actual name and then I'm going to, to say that. So just, again, if you just Google the Global Conservation and Tech and Drone Forum, you'll find where all this is happening this week. At the trademark, if you get an opportunity through the different channels to register or be registered, it's a good start, but not necessarily to say that you've lost if you don't get this week. There are many opportunities. You can look at actionlab.africa. There's also a lot of information that you can actually just get about what's going on, what projects are being done. I mean, they're very beautiful projects. We don't do boring stuff. And then lastly, I think, join LinkedIn. Just join LinkedIn.
Just join it.
Yeah,
opportunities
look
are there.
for me,
you never know.
Look for Munyala, Mwalo, DM. I'll connect you to whoever I can. Where I can't, I'll actually say, but I think it's high time that we rethink the ecosystem. Okay, awesome. Thank you very much. And that's the end of our conversation today. We have been looking into the opportunities that are there in tech conservation, particularly looking at the event, the Global Conservation Tech and Drone Forum that's taking place this week. And we've been talking to Mwalo Mwalo, who's the design director at Action Lab. I hope you've taken a lot from this conversation. You can watch it later on YouTube, just in case you missed any part of it or you want to get more from it. Thank you very much once again for staying with us all the way till 10 a.m. On behalf of the team, we wish you a lovely day ahead. Enjoy the rest of your viewing. See you tomorrow.